always ahead. Asyad is always with you, providing end-to-end logistics solutions that help your business grow. Always adaptable, from e-commerce fulfillment and inventory management to last-mile delivery. Always available. As Oman's leading warehouse provider, our extensive network offers storage and distribution for dry, ambient, chilled, and frozen goods. Always advancing. Our global freight forwarding network reaches over 90 geographies across 6 continents, offering faster and more reliable freight forwarding solutions via land, air, and sea. Always assured. Our integrated systems provide end-to-end visibility and real-time tracking, seamlessly integrated with your business. Always ahead isn't just a promise, it's our standard. Asyad Logistics. Fast forward your business.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, The Future of E-Commerce in Oman. I'm Abdullah Al-Kalbani, and I'm thrilled to have you all here with us today. E-commerce in Oman is experiencing a remarkable growth, driven by tech-savvy and young population, where everyone, and almost everyone, have a mobile device. Online shopping became a go-to option for so many people, with industry projected growth from 20 to 25% annually for the next 5 years. Oman Vision 2040 have been a game changer, pushing the digital transformation and economic expansion to the roof. The pandemic also helped in accelerating that shift, with platform, especially in groceries and electronic, have seen sales jumps up to 40%. Businesses here are seizing the opportunity to link the local and global market together by any chance. Today, we'll dive into what's shaping this transformation, from AI, mobile apps, and digital payment as well, and how these technologies will be changing how people shop, also by making it easier, gain trust, and also tailor it to individual shopping. But challenges like these have a lot of overcomes a lot of challenges, such as delivery and customer trust. We'll also explore how Oman can stand out in the global e-commerce market. Unique products like frankincense and handcrafted goods are great international products, and with improved trade agreements and digital tools, we will position to make a significant impact. Throughout the session, feel free to ask us any questions in the chats feature, and we'll address as much as we can at the Q&A. Now let me introduce our esteemed panelists, who will bring incredible insight and expertise to today's discussion. Let's get started. First, we have Francesca Wilson, e-commerce solution manager at Asyad Logistics, brings her extensive experiences in the UK e-commerce sectors to share insight on how logistic innovation and driving the growth and efficiency of Oman e-commerce industry. We have Sadiq Baqir Taqi Al-Lawati, Head of Channels and Digitalization in Bank Nizwa, who will be sharing his expertise on the transforming e-commerce in Oman and the role of digital payment and emerging technology. Muawiyah Rawas, founder of Ion Basket, will provide insight on the emerging world of micro e-commerce, focusing on empowering small businesses and enterprises in the digital space. Our panelists will explore these topics, discussing the opportunities and challenges that lies ahead. Let's imagine how can we work together to create a thriving and innovating e-commerce future in Oman. Welcome all of you here. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.
So my first question will be for Francesca. How is Oman leveraging strategic location and logistic infrastructure to support the rapid growth of e-commerce?
Well, Oman is really the crossroads to key trade routes like Asia, Africa, and Europe. And with world-class ports like Salalah and Sohar, with established free zones, we're really seeing support in e-commerce growth and trade by lowering the barriers to entry. I can really see Oman at the moment as a global kind of hub for e-commerce distribution.
That's great. And my question for Sadiq is, what barriers still exist for widespread adoption of digital payment among Omani consumers, and how can fintech companies address these barriers?
See, when you look at this question, you need to see at the demographics that we have. So the Omani population is mostly of a younger population. However, you have the older population, such as me, but who are into e-commerce. But still, you still have a segment of people who still don't want to use the online platforms, the systems, the applications to do their e-commerce. Why? Security concerns, trust concerns as well. I mean, I've gotten my parents, even my wife to a certain extent, look at a website and say, Sadiq, does this look okay? I don't trust it. My father, for example, 2 years ago, ordered a pair of shoes online without asking me. All right. I'm not saying I'm the authority of knowing a website is fake or real, but he didn't consult like he normally does. Yeah. That was 2 years ago. Till now, he hasn't received his shoes. Amount was deducted, but he still hasn't received it. So you have issues like this.
Yeah.
And then you have people, or our society is still cash-based society. Even though our transactions on the POS terminals, on the e-commerce have been going up, but we still depend on cash quite a bit. If I look at the transaction rates on our ATMs at Bank Nizwa, they go up every year, regardless of us putting more ATMs or we don't put more ATMs. But they still are going up because people still use cash. So people like to use cash. They they don't trust the platforms. They like to feel the product before they actually get it. And these are some of the issues that we face, unfortunately.
So basically, like, the consumers prefer still the like hand-on-hand trading and they're dealing with them in personal than behind the screen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Muawiyah, I would like to ask you a question. What are the key challenges micro businesses face in establishing an online presence in Oman, and how can they overcome these challenges?
First of all, thank you for having me. And the straight answer would be exactly what he said. It's usually the transactions always driven by the customer, the buyer. The seller is going to go wherever the buyer is more comfortable to buy and to do his transaction. But since you took it to give an example, I'll tell you my kids, and my oldest is 12, Aus. He doesn't even think of buying anything local. Why? A lot of the stuff that he wants doesn't exist in the local market. There are toys, certain figures. He can only get them through international big marketplace players. So in his mind, he's already looking forward. He's already going to buy stuff from outside Oman. Now this creates a challenge, goes back to, but that brings the opportunity. Every challenge that we say is an opportunity for these small companies to actually excel. The market, as you mentioned, the growth rate is huge, and their challenge is to find a way to convince their customers to move to another channel of buying. The current channel is social media driven. That's where e-commerce started booming in Oman. And customers still need to move from that. We have onboarded many customers in Ion Basket. We're now working with them and providing them certain guidance. We have now an online courses going on. We're trying to get them understand those simple algorithms of how to get the customer to trust. So the challenge is summarized as the following: trust the technology, adjust your. They have a challenge adjusting their current process to trust the system where transaction can be taken online. The product is fulfilled, the payment is gone, and he's only getting his invoice on the payment that he received from the customer. That frees the buyer or the seller to go and work on his advertisement. So trusting the channel, the technology, trust and change management is the biggest challenge they have. The infrastructure is ready through Asyad and the central bank and the local banks and the payment gateways and companies like Ion have provided almost everything they need.
Thank you for that. So coming back to you, Francesca, how can technology like AI and IoT be integrated into logistic operations to optimize cost and efficiency for e-commerce businesses?
So AI and IoT technologies are really exciting time for the logistics industry because it's really going to transform how we do logistics and how we know how we've done it before and how that looks in the future. I know that the real reason behind using these sort of technologies is to streamline processes in the supply chain. And why would we do that? Well, it allows us to get greater visibility, and logistics is a very complex industry. So in order for us to have better visibility, it actually allows us to make well-informed decisions. I know in the UK that we're using a lot of trials in terms of RFID tags, in smart warehousing solutions, and what that does is it automates inventory, by giving real-time inventory updates. And that being said, it reduces labour costs, improves efficiencies in terms of, inventory management, stock outs, ensuring you're not holding excessive stock. And all of that sort of wrapped up in a nutshell kind of really allows businesses and consumers to make well-informed decisions.
And it's also like, decrease the room of error as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, human error is a huge thing we need to consider when we're implementing these technologies.
Yeah.
And also when we do implement it, how do we support and structure that in terms of the team and what they're used to as well. So there's kind of a multifaceted approach here to ensure that people are ready for the change. But I think the industry is really begging for it at the moment.
That's actually really great. So Sadaq, coming back to you, how has the rise of mobile wallets and digital payment solution transformed the e-commerce landscape in Oman?
See, you need to go back in time to really answer this question. 20 years ago, when all the ministry pushed, they literally pushed all the customers into the post transaction. So I'm sure Muawiyah you remember. If you had to go to ROP, you had to go to Ministry of Housing, Ministry of Labor, Ministry of eCommerce. You couldn't use cash. They were forcing customers to use their debit cards or credit cards to do their transactions, whatever transaction you had to do, and you need to pay. It had to be through cash, and back then, because people were pushed and weren't ready, people were standing there looking for people with cards. I'll give you 5 riyals. Please do my transaction. So this is where it started.
Somebody created a business from that.
Yeah.
Normal individual rights.
So 20 years ago, the government initiated this. They pushed all the customers to use their debit cards into POS transactions, eliminating cash at their ministries, and then followed by, if you look at the large business, large corporates, wanting to integrate in their ERPs, their payment systems into the bank, so they have more efficient payment systems going in and out of their books, and where the banks came in and provided their B2B solutions. Come 2017, Central Bank launched their MP Clear system, which is the mobile wallets. 2019, they upgraded that, and after COVID, people really started using that heavily. I use that more than I use the regular payment channels, which is through the accounts, sending the mobile number. But so that was up until now. This year, Central Bank of Oman had launched 2 more initiatives focusing on 2 different areas. One is the electronic direct debit mandate, freeing the customers and the merchants from the usual hassle of tying the salaries to the customer. So customer can, for example, the customer sees a car at the Toyota showroom, likes the new Land Cruiser. His salary is with Bank X, but he knows Bank Nizwa is offering a better profit rate. He can get the car and get it financed through Bank Nizwa without even having to move his salary to Bank Nizwa. So it makes the purchase much more easier. That's number one. And number 2 is earlier this year, somewhere in the mid of the year, Central Bank launched their open banking framework, pushing banks to integrate into their platform and have this open banking policy for everybody. 2, 3 years, 4 years down the line, this will develop into an open finance, which will make purchasing even more easier for the end consumer. Hopefully, pushing the e-commerce business even further.
So it's making more of the financial transaction much easier on the consumer, and less headache for the supplier as well.
And you see, it gives freedom for the customer and in turn to the merchant as well. Now the merchants are tied to the way the customer wants to transact and bank, and that's very limiting for both of them. I mean, sure, Muawiyah can attest to that, but going these 2 ways, the direct debit mandate and the open banking, will actually free up quite a bit.
That's actually great. Now, Muawiyah, in the same category, I have a question for you. What financial tools or payment system are essential for micro businesses to thrive in the e-commerce space?
Everything that relates to cash flow, That should be one category. Microfinancing, bill discounting made easy, ability to get a credit card without having to link or freeze a deposit linked to that card. And I think the direct debit mandate is going to help that, because now SMEs can free or can utilize different bank account to get a certain. So these products are mainly towards cash flow. If their cash flow is improved, they're able to give better marketing, better customer service, better product development, and that helps the decision of the customer to buy, and that drives the entire cycle, whether it's logistics, banking, product, through ION. It's the trust.
So it's like the cash flow is the head of the pyramid as well, that controls
for the
everything.
SME,
For
exactly.
the SME,
But
yes.
one thing, the cash flow is also, as I said, it works both ways.
Exactly.
What you were talking about is the cash flow for the individual, the buyer, because now you actually can you can easily access a certain scheme to pay for a certain product. But it's the same for the SMEs. And but I also want to say there's a lot of that provided by the government.
Yes, there's a lot of support.
And what we're
as well,
seeing
yeah.
is that SMEs are not capitalizing on their opportunities and not able to go and say, okay, because of the opportunity in the market is this big, I'm entitled to apply for this fund or for this kind of facility. And I think that there are a lot of funds and institutions that are ready to do that.
Yeah, there's a full support, especially for the SMEs in the Sultanate. And now we can see more businesses are coming out, and they are more motivated into being a part of this marketplace.
Absolutely. There's another example that no one talks about. Again, it improves the SME's cash flow. The more, as we said, it's a trust at the end of the day, whether you trust to buy or trust to sell. There's this platform done by the Ministry of Commerce called Ma'roof. And all customers, and it's actually made for people selling on social media. Because when you're on social media, you're open for a lot of probabilities of scam. Let's put it that way. Because it's not an institution, it's an individual. You don't know where the account is, and you could be transferring money to a personal account. So what the ministry is doing, they've introduced, and it's free. If you have a brand, you have a product, go and register, and you get a certain link that you can, as a buyer, can go to the ministry's website and see, yes, this is a registered brand. They have their CR correct. They've checked all the checks and balances. I can buy from them comfortably.
Francesca, coming back to you, what is the role of warehousing and fulfillment center in meeting the demand for faster delivery times, and how does Oman compare regionally?
So the role of warehousing and fulfillment is absolutely crucial in faster delivery times. And firstly, you're bringing your stock closer to your end consumer, so you're cutting out those initial transit days. Underpinning all of that is efficient pick and pack processes alongside real-time inventory management that enable faster order processing. So it's a real key staple, and anyone that's looking to expand into new markets or maybe take the headache out of managing their own operations and warehouse, outsourcing that is a great way to allow you to focus on growing your business. And I think Oman is a real key emerging player in, I'd say, global e-commerce rather than regional.
So there's still a lot of room for improvement, but at the same time we can see potentials along the way.
Absolutely. And I think, with Oman's vision of 2040, we've seen heavy investments in the logistics infrastructure, digitalizing customs clearance processes and last mile. So this is a really key time and exciting time for SMEs to get on board and grow with the country.
That's great. Sadaq, back to you. So how can digital payment system create a trust among Omanis who still prefer cash on delivery? Like we mentioned before, we still have that I won't say mistrust, but shaking trust towards digital, payments and transfer.
See, cash on delivery, the way I see cash on delivery is a sort of a guarantee for the consumer against what he's buying. I mean, I buy something off of the net, I don't trust, I don't know. I'll probably choose cash on delivery. Up until it gets to my door, I see what it is, I know it's getting to my door, then I can pay. I wouldn't want to pay up front and then not receive my...
Like the shoe story.
Exactly, exactly. So cash on delivery in that situation would have helped. But I mean, see, it all boils down to trust and how you prefer to shop. And cash on delivery also is because, I mean, I see it, our society is still cash-based society. When I go to a restaurant with my wife, first thing I do when I'm paying the check is a card. Now it's the mobile with the tokenization. But I've seen my wife. I have cash. Why are you giving your card out? I have cash. No, keep your cash for yourself. But why not use the card? I mean, you don't have to wait for the change. It's instant. I mean, it's easier, and I don't have to carry cash. If you look at my wallet right now, it's empty. Only cards. But I mean, getting back to the point, I mean, see, for the cash on delivery, if there are assurances, there's campaigns, there's awareness, or and the trust is built, I mean, cash on delivery will eventually go down. It won't be eliminated, but it will eventually go down.
As you mentioned, the wallet story. Now, as we can see, with technology improving, the wallets get smaller and smaller.
Exactly.
Now you use your phone for payment, and soon even your ID card and your driving license all will be linked in a digital profile within your devices. So
Incidentally, some of the U.S. states obviously in U.S. have their driver's license and ID in the Apple Wallet, like we have our debit card. So you don't really need to even carry your wallets. Just put your phone and you're good to go.
yeah, so basically we're going with technology all in, like they say.
No, but even I'll tell you an experience. I was in my car, I had nothing but my phone. I was stopped by the ROP for my license and registration. I opened the ROP app, because it's their app. It brings up your license and registration, and thought he said, you have to have the physical one, let you go this time. And I just had my phone. I went, put fuel in my car, the mobile wallet. None of my identification cards with me. I did go through a payment and the ROP checkpoint, and everything went through.
No, we've progressed quite a bit. We've progressed quite a bit, but we still have a long ways to go as well.
But eventually it's coming. Like, there is no escape from technology. You have to adapt or you'll be forgotten. So it's the way to go. So Muawiyah, this question is for you. What role do social media platforms play in helping micro businesses reach their target audience?
Oh, that is a 4.4 billion population question. That's the population of people on social media, on different social media. Social media has extended the what we call it, the old neighborhood shop, where usually the normal way there'll be a trading family or a trading person who go create a shop in a village or in a neighborhood, and that's his customers. They know him, everybody knows him, he knows everybody. Expanding that is a cost, is very costly, going to opening multiple branches, logistics, storage. Social media has pushed the boundaries to everywhere on the planet. You have access to 4.4 billion people. You have access to 33 million people in GCC. Those are identified online buyers. As in, if they find a product at the right price, for the right service, with the right trust, they'll buy it. And so social media is the biggest drive. The only problem that we saw as ION at the beginning is that there is no transition between social media and payment. And that's what we've worked on in ION Basket, the solution, where every customer will be able to post to social media through the platform. So the product will automatically go to different social media platforms, and it will have a link where once you click that link, it will take you to the product page, not the web page. And again, it's that ability to reduce the time between wanting to buy and having the product in your shopping bag. So social media is a big reach, but the competition is getting bigger. So they'll have to change their methods. It's an enabler, not a showstopper. Actually, banking, platforms like us, logistics companies are all trying to get and serve this. But there's a big Chinese wall between the social media platforms and the rest of the industry that we all are part of.
It's kind of a big challenge as well. You know, with the platform, you have a lot of competitors as well. So you should have the edge to promote yourself as well. So it's not like an easy way to social media. It's like you don't post and people will come to you. You have to have your own marketing system and all.
It all goes back to that word what I love that's being repeated, which is trust. Once you go to social media, people know. Even if you get an influencer, I've seen that trend already starting. You get an influencer who's reviewing a product. Yes, he will have a lot of reach, but does he have conversion? If he's seen as somebody who just got paid to talk about a product, the conversion is going to be very minimal. But if let's say you ride motorbikes or dirt bikes, and you go online and everybody knows, you say, look, go X brand. A lot of people who are enthusiasts were thinking, they just listen to you. but because you know you're an expert in that.
Makes sense. Thank you. Francesca, how can partnership between logistic providers such as Asyad and local SMEs enhance the sustainability of e-commerce in Oman?
Thank you. I think that's actually a really well-timed question based on the conversations that we've been having. So having the right logistics partner is absolutely key. The demand for on-time and more accurate deliveries is increasing and becoming a real core business activity. So, you know, for example, at Asyad, what we do is give access to advanced logistics solutions like fulfillment and warehousing, but also like services like Ship Your Cart. And what that does is it gives features like package consolidation, forwarding and returns. And it really enables the SME to expand their reach, reduce costs, and it allows international shipping to be more accessible and more efficient.
So it's made much easier for them than before.
Absolutely, yeah, it is much easier, and it helps your supply chain. And I think, you know, like I said before, outsourcing those fulfillment and warehousing needs, it really allows you the resources to actually expand on your own business and grow that and let someone else take the operational headache away from you.
Exactly, so you're taking so many of their steps off their hands and create it for them.
Correct, and it's also a very low risk way of entering a new market.
Yes. We're going back to Sadiq.
Before you start with my question,
Yes.
see, once Francesca, you address these kind of issues, I think the e-commerce business will automatically increase. So if I look at the consumers, or if I look at myself, for example, I need to buy a washing machine. I need to buy an oven toaster, for example. Cheap, but I don't want to take the time out to go to Extra or the other stores and get something off of the shelf. I go to their websites, their applications which they have. It's stocked. It's there. I put it in the car and it says 3 days delivery. Meanwhile, I can go across the street, literally across the street from where I live, go get into the shop and get it for...
And this is the big challenge that we're facing in logistics, and especially from the UK. You know, the delivery expectation in the UK is everything's next day or same day, whereby I think the Omani expectation is, well, I can get it quicker by going to the store.
Exactly.
And, you know, here at Asyad, we are looking at solutions to address those so that things can become next day by making it easier for the end consumer.
Absolutely.
You'll pick the conveniency of ordering online rather than getting in the car, going to the mall and then bringing it home.
Absolutely.
I'll get you that toaster oven
You
as quick as
understand
I
my
can.
That's one of the key challenges that you have in e-commerce. People expectation for delivery to be, you know, we're in a fast-paced moving era. I expect my shipment to be delivered as fast as possible.
But by the way, when people buy a product online, they look at the customer reviews, and one of the biggest things they look at, a big portion, is that how was the delivery experience.
Exactly.
So if you're a seller, you're a product, it's not about the product or about the seller. How was the delivery experience? And if that's bad, people lose interest.
Exactly. They count a lot on how the delivery was made and how fast was it. So, Sadiq, I have a question for you. What trends in AI and blockchain could reshape the way payment are proceed in e-commerce over the next 5 years?
See, AI can definitely help in a number of ways. It's for the consumer and the merchant in the sense it can give you a personalized recommendation or hyper personalized recommendations for that. For example, us three sitting in the panel going to the same website to get something, we won't get recommended the same thing. Each will have their own personalized recommendation for that particular customer with their own history. So, and making the shopping experience much more better, or much better in that sense. So this is where I see the AI coming in.
AI, and right now you can see it implemented in everything at the moment, from like business-wise to personal use. It's taken over, you know.
It's being used everywhere, even when you don't expect it. It's there.
Exactly. So back to you, Muawiyah. What training or resources do you think are the most needed to help micro-commerce entrepreneurs scale their businesses?
Well, every SME is different, depending where. For example, an SME that established in London will have a different expectation from an SME established in Oman, or in Muscat, or in Salalah, and whatever, because there's a collective knowledge around there. Competitors follow people that did it before you. But I can only speak from our experience in the platform. We're finding that the ability to trust the system is a bit difficult. Just as you mentioned, the fulfillment, the pick and pack, all that, it all piles up and I love this word is being repeated, the trust, where the buyer can continue to buy. So we currently are running a program. It's two sides. One is just an introduction to e-commerce. We're literally going to the what's the opportunities of e-commerce, what tribe now do you belong to when you go e-commerce? You're not just bounded by Oman, you're not just bounded by the city you're in. It's universal. We're running trainings on how to actually build your website, and don't overcomplicate it. A lot of people want to spend money on creating the most amazing landing page, but what they don't know is that as a customer, I'm used to certain famous platforms. I know where the checkout is, I know where the back button is, I know where the search button is. They should just simplify it, replicate what they're doing, because that's where the muscle is. We're running programs in terms of inventory. How do you stock your inventory? How do you foresee spikes? As you mentioned it before, I don't want to have an inventory that stays over the lapsed amount that's allowed for it, or I don't want customers to the demand might be high, but my supply is short. I'm losing a lot of opportunities. We're running courses on how to integrate your social media with your selling ecosystem. Your website and your social media platform and your WhatsApp messaging are all part of your brand. They're the same thing. They should have the same exit, the same omni-channel. We're running things on, when do you know, how do you run a Ma'roof program? How do you go and register with the ministry? We're running things even at basics, where how to open a CR, a commercial registration, because doing a person-to-person selling, up to a certain extent, it's a universal, I think, knowledge that, I can buy and sell from you, I can sell your car to you, there's a level. But your growth is going to be capped. You cannot do certain growth on your personal account, because for that to happen, there's a lot of backing up that takes place from financial institutions, government bodies, and if you're not a company, nobody's going to deal with you. So all these trainings we're running now. So we tried a free course in preparation for this 8-week course, and surprisingly, we haven't even done a lot of ads. Registration went up above 250 people came and registered. So we're taking them now in batches and just promoting that 8-week program, where we're hoping that we'll run them through this program. By the end, they will be connected to Asyad, understanding how the fulfillment works, the payment, the partner that we have, the inventory, the website. I think all these are required at certain levels. Not everybody requires all of them, but some are. Any missing link of those will affect the entire ecosystem of e-commerce.
That's actually great. Francesca, I have a question for you. What insight from the UK experience can help Omani businesses compete on a regional or even global e-commerce?
So I think, as I've mentioned before, the UK e-commerce industry and the buyer behaviour over there is a lot different to here. But I think some of the challenges that we can see is, like we've said many times, is that trust element, and I think accessibility for the end consumer. There's some key highlights that I've learned and insights from the UK market, and one of those would be brand loyalty, fast and reliable deliveries, and flexible return options. I think Omani businesses can also learn from the UK's focus on sustainability. So start looking at how you can incorporate eco-friendly packaging and really researching your final mile delivery partner, ensuring that their core values align with your business needs. I think from my experience from the UK, my advice would be for Omani businesses is it is scary. It's scary to think, I want to take my business regionally or globally. But the key here is get in touch with businesses like Asyad and just have a chat and see where you go from there. We're here to support you and make it less scary and more accessible.
The more you gain the knowledge, the more easier it will be for
Exactly,
you.
and knowledge is key. Teaching people on how to do things in a country, an industry that's very complicated is how you have more power and more influence.
As I said, the antidote of fear is knowledge.
Yeah.
That's actually really good. That's good. So I have a question for all of you, the panelists we have here. So you share your points, your counterpoints for these following questions. The first one to be, how can collaboration across logistic, fintech, retail, and telecom industries unlock the full potential of e-commerce in Oman?
Is that looking at me first?
Ladies
Please,
first.
after you. I think we've done this.
I can start. I think if collaboration is very much needed, so it's the effect is going to be astronomical. How the collaboration can work, I think at the first phase, they all should sit back and not think that we should make profit from day one. We need to change the consumer habits a little bit, get people to again and again trust the process, get the SMEs to trust the technologies that are available, whether it's ION as a platform, a bank as a payment, or Asyad as a delivery partner, and just get that ecosystem kick-started. The moment that happens, we've done our own analysis that we foresee a huge growth, not just in the e-commerce transaction, but also in employment. We did an exciting study where we looked at, there are, I think, if we take 50% of the SMEs in Oman that are considered retail, and we push them to reach a certain level of transaction per day, and that was linked to the number of population of the population number in the GCC. So we're not looking at them exporting to China. At a certain level of success, that means daily transactions that are taking place. You are a sustainable company. You do minimum transactions, and you're delivering to multiple countries. The industry, to be able to maintain its quality, will need 600,000 people to work in it. And that is in Oman only. And I'm opening the fact of the 33 million population in the GCC. And by the way, Amazon could be, or big companies can do the same efficiency, but with small number of employees. But we're talking about many SMEs doing the same job. And that is why they should use this technology. And by working together, we can unlock this.
And Muawiyah put it very nicely as to what needs to be done. I would add just one more thing to it, is incentivizing the customer to actually move to this platforms for the e-commerce and doing the transactions. Without incentivizing, back then, 20 years ago, pushing the customer to do the transaction did work. But I don't think in this day and age, pushing the customers or forcing the customers to do a transaction in a certain way will work. But more of incentivizing and working together will make this shift happen, actually.
But I don't think we have enough research to understand what is the incentive. All companies think that the incentive is just give them money. And I believe there are other incentives that can be worked within this, like the eco.
But I think it's the efficiency as
yeah,
well.
absolutely.
Really highlighting
Absolutely,
that
yeah.
actually doing a payment transfer via a mobile number and having a link and a one-click link, that the efficiency of both are almost night and day. So highlighting those as well to the end consumer. I think it's interesting that a lot of I guess in the UK market, it's the businesses that dictate to the consumers, whereas actually here there's more choice in the hands of consumers. So we do have to be more softer with the approach and empower them with knowledge and show them that this is the easy route to take. So let's do this.
That's great. My second questions will be, what specific innovation do you foresee shaping the future of e-commerce in Oman over the next decade? Next decade.
I'd say robots, automated warehousing. I think that will shape the future of Oman.
Okay, we can see actually that's happening in similar factories like car factories and stuff. They've been replaced by AI and machinery that's taken over.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that you think will be implemented for e-commerce in Oman for the next decade?
Certainly, and I think we'll start to see more and more differences and changes with that technological implementation. Automated warehouses, we can use GPS sensors, eSIMs, and all of these just give us more visibility on the supply chain, and I think it will really shape the way Oman move forward in the next decade.
I come from a banking background, so telling me 10 years in a technology is way too long. Maybe 3 to 5 years at most, and the technologies that I'm looking at is what central bank introduced within this year, which was the direct debit mandate and the open banking, which I personally think will have a big impact with how we do our e-commerce in this country.
I think it's. I can only think of AI now, but there's a very specific topic within AI. As of now, we just ask AI, you send it some queries, you get the answers, and you have to review your answers. By the way, never trust 100% whatever comes from AI, but it's still an amazing tool. What I'm starting to see is, until last year, SEOs were a big part of directing the product, linking it to the search, and then to your decision to buy a product as a consumer. I think AI SEO is going to start playing, where I will ask AI, I need to buy a fan, this is my budget, this is the temperature in my building, and I need it to last for the next 3 years. AI will go and find all the reviews by everybody, and they'll just come and recommend one. So for SMEs to actually be part of what AI will capture and be part of the algorithm is what's going to change the e-commerce industry down the line, if it goes that direction. This is at least this is a prediction.
And my last question for you is, how can e-commerce stakeholders in Oman work together to ensure sustainability and inclusivity as the sector grows? How can e-commerce stakeholders in Oman work together to ensure sustainability and inclusivity as the sector grows? We're talking about like the same logistic, fintech, finance, all these work together to make e-commerce evolve.
Well, we need to put them all in one place. They have to work on one single target. And if you do a root cause analysis, it's a seller's habits. How do I change the seller's habit? Because the number of transactions that are happening online are huge. It's just they're not accounting for. They're all happening through Instagram and personal. So if we all get together, whether it's the platform providing the technology, the banking providing the payment, or the logistics, or any other legal entity that's required, sitting together, getting that root cause analysis, and thinking that we need to change the seller's habit, improve the seller, through whatever program that we can arrive for, we're all ready to be part of it. And it's an invitation from me, and I think you've already opened that you are working, and the banks have been
Certainly.
doing as much as they can in the past 10 years. So this is, I think, find the main core changing drive, and all push towards it, and then you will see the same growth that took place in other countries.
So it's need more like collaboration and unity before we actually take in the step to the next one.
Exactly. We're already each one doing his own part.
Yeah.
We launched an e-commerce platform only because we knew Asyad was there, and there's a payment gateway. Asyad launched, I'm guessing, it's a normal deductive, like if they did a fulfillment, so they knew there were products being sold left, right, and center within Oman through online. So they've seen that. The banking industry, the same thing with the central bank. So everybody knows this. We just need to sit together.
First of all, I'd like to thank you all for your information. It was very insightful and very helpful, and I hope our viewers online are taking notes for these important things. Before we close, do you have anything to add to this webinar?
I just want to say thank you for having me. And again, like I said, if any Omani businesses are feeling that nervousness in entering new markets, please get in touch. Asyad are here to really help you grow and support you through that transition.
I believe exciting times are coming upon us in terms of e-commerce, business, and of course the logistics area in what Asyad is doing. We've been partners with them for the past couple of years, and I say thank you very much. And the next 3 years will be exciting in this space, so watch out. And thank you for having us.
Well, I can only talk to our customers, which are, I think, similar customers to all of us. Find out the best practices all over the world. There's hundreds of thousands of companies that are selling online. There's best practices everywhere. A lot of them are published by big e-commerce platforms because they want to give to the community. There are a lot of free courses that can happen. One of them is us. If you go to our social media account, you'll find them. Learn, copy, then innovate. Don't try to innovate before you learn. And this is something that we've learned the hard way. At the beginning when we did Ion, a lot of it has changed down the line. We thought we can do everything. We can do the delivery, we can do the payment, and down the line we learned, no, let's concentrate. And so as we learn, we have enough room to innovate after that. And I just want everybody to learn.
Thank you so much for your word, and I appreciate you taking the time. It was a leverage for me to be here, sitting and sharing this knowledge with all of you.
Thank you.
I hope the viewers online are having the same feeling as I am, because it was really informative and I learned a lot. And thank you for all of you watching us online on this webinar, and expect more to come from Asyad, sharing more information about different sectors in e-commerce. Thank you so much.
always ahead. Asyad is always with you, providing end-to-end logistics solutions that help your business grow. Always adaptable, from e-commerce fulfillment and inventory management to last-mile delivery. Always available. As Oman's leading warehouse provider, our extensive network offers storage and distribution for dry, ambient, chilled, and frozen goods. Always advancing. Our global freight forwarding network reaches over 90 geographies across 6 continents, offering faster and more reliable freight forwarding solutions via land, air, and sea. Always assured. Our integrated systems provide end-to-end visibility and real-time tracking, seamlessly integrated with your business. Always ahead isn't just a promise, it's our standard. Asyad Logistics. Fast forward your business.